What if your gut has been making your decisions all along? Scientists now call it the enteric nervous system, your second brain, a network of over 500 million neurons running quietly through your intestines, communicating, remembering, feeling.
Wait, are you telling me my stomach's smarter than some people I know?
Maybe not smarter, but definitely busier.
The enteric nervous system contains both sensory and motor neurons capable of independent reflexes. It can operate even if the connection to the central nervous system is severed.
In 1899, British physiologist William Bayliss and Ernest Starling made a strange discovery. They cut the nerve supply to a dog's intestine, yet it still moved, contracting, digesting, reacting. What they proved was revolutionary. The gut didn't need orders from the brain. It had a mind of its own.
So, basically, intestines were doing yoga before it was cool.
Their findings became the foundation for modern neurogastroenterology, the study of how your belly thinks.
Decades later, surgeons at Johns Hopkins removed part of a man's spinal cord after an accident. They expected his intestines to stop moving. Instead, his gut continued rhythmic contractions, perfectly timed, as if obeying its own secret rhythm.
Modern analysis confirms, even isolated from the brain, the enteric nervous system maintains peristalsis through intrinsic reflex arcs.
A century ago, they called it phantom gut. Today, we call it proof. If you've ever said, "I feel it in my gut," you were telling the truth. The gut produces 95% of your body's serotonin, the same chemical that regulates mood and happiness.
Serotonin in the gut modulates intestinal movement and indirectly signals the brain via the vagus nerve.
So, the butterflies I get before a date are neurotransmitters throwing a rave in my intestines?
Exactly. Your stomach DJ is spinning serotonin tracks, and every pulse carries information, emotion, memory, intuition, all encoded in biology. In 2010, Harvard researchers monitored executives during high-stress meetings. Their gut activity spiked seconds before they realized they were anxious. The gut sensed the tension first.
So the stomach's like, "Girl, we in danger," before your brain even clocks in.
The enteric nervous system transmits danger signals faster than conscious awareness, a survival mechanism.
The gut doesn't just digest food, it digests emotion. Think of it, a silent messenger working beneath your thoughts. Every stress, every meal, every moment of calm, translated into chemistry.
Through the vagus nerve, the gut sends 90% of the signals upward, from belly to brain, not the other way around.
So the boss of the operation lives below the belt?
Seems so. In London, neuroscientists placed volunteers in MRI scanners while inflating balloons in their intestines. Gently, safely. Brain regions for emotion lit up instantly. They learned that your gut literally touches your feelings.
Visceral sensation activates the insular cortex, the same area involved in empathy and self-awareness.
So my stomach aches when I feel bad because my brain's basically eavesdropping on my bowels?
Exactly. Your body's conversation is constant. You just rarely hear both sides. For centuries, we thought wisdom lived only above the neck. But every pulse beneath our ribs says otherwise.
So the next time I get a bad feeling, I'll listen before I grab antacids.
That might be the smartest thing your gut ever told you.
End of Act 1. Neural awareness initiated.
Inside your gut lives a civilization, trillions of microbes sending messages in chemical code. They don't speak English, but they can whisper to your brain.
So my gut's running its own gossip network?
Exactly. Your microbes talk nonstop through hormones, neurotransmitters, and electrical impulses. Every emotion you feel has a microbial echo.
Gut microbes synthesize compounds identical to brain neurotransmitters: serotonin, dopamine, GABA. They influence mood, decision-making, and even social behavior.
In 2016, researchers gave participants a daily probiotic yogurt for 4 weeks. When compared to the control group, they reported less anxiety, fewer intrusive thoughts, and higher emotional stability.
MRI scans confirmed that brain regions associated with emotional processing, the amygdala and prefrontal cortex, became calmer and more connected.
So yogurt is out here doing therapy?
Kind of. Your microbes love fermented food. It's like sending them to a spa. These microbes don't just react, they predict. When you're stressed, they change their chemistry to prepare your body for survival. When you're happy, they amplify serotonin to keep you there.
This dynamic feedback loop between gut and brain is known as the microbiota gut-brain axis. It's a bidirectional system using immune, neural, and hormonal signaling.
So if I feed them junk food, they riot?
They do. Bad microbes thrive on sugar and processed fats. They crowd out the helpful ones, and that can shift your mood too. Scientists at McMaster University transferred gut bacteria from fearless mice into anxious ones. Within days, the anxious mice explored open spaces, something they'd never done before.
Microbes modulated brain chemistry via the vagus nerve, lowering cortisol and increasing exploratory behavior. When the nerve was cut, the effect disappeared.
So confidence is contagious now?
In a way, yes. The right microbes can make your brain braver. Our microbes are emotional translators. They sense what we eat, how we feel, and what we fear, then relay that information to the brain.
Gut bacteria modulate tryptophan metabolism, which determines serotonin synthesis. Alterations can trigger mood disorders.
So my sadness might literally be a chemical group chat?
Yes, and some of your microbes might just need better boundaries. In 2019, UCLA researchers studied women who ate a Western diet high in sugar and fat. They had fewer healthy gut bacteria and higher activity in brain regions linked to anxiety.
Participants who switched to a plant-rich diet restored gut diversity within 3 weeks and reported significant mood improvement.
So kale really does save lives.
Maybe not kale alone, but fiber, fermented foods, and thyme, yes. Each of us carries a unique microbial fingerprint, a living signature that shapes our personality. Some microbes are linked to optimism, others to creativity, some even to empathy.
Microbiome composition correlates with cognitive flexibility and stress resilience. Studies suggest gut balance supports executive brain function.
So what you're saying is, I could literally eat my way to a better attitude?
That's one way to put it. The gut doesn't just mirror who we are, it helps make us. Every thought, every craving, every fear might begin deeper than we think, inside a community that lives within us.
And to think, I used to just call it lunch.
Act 3 begins where things get complicated, when the gut rebels.
Transitioning to next sequence, pathology mode.
When harmony fades, chaos begins. The gut and brain stop listening to each other, and what was once communication becomes noise.
Disruption of the gut-brain axis is associated with irritable bowel syndrome, Parkinson's disease, depression, and anxiety disorders. Inflammation is the messenger of imbalance.
So when my stomach's a mess, my mind might be too.
Exactly. You can't separate the two. They share a nervous system and a language of pain. In 2019, Nature Microbiology published a remarkable study. Researchers found that Parkinson's disease, a brain disorder, might begin in the gut. Alpha-synuclein, a misfolded protein, travels from intestinal nerves up the vagus nerve to the brain.
Decades before tremors appear, patients report chronic constipation, the gut's early distress signal.
For one man in the study, digestive issues started 15 years before his first neurological symptoms.
So his body was waving red flags while his brain stayed silent.
Yes, the gut warned him long before anyone listened. When inflammation spreads, it changes everything, from how you digest food to how you think. This isn't metaphorical stress, it's physical fire.
Cytokines released from the gut cross the blood-brain barrier, altering neurotransmitter synthesis and neural circuits.
So stress really is toxic.
Yes, and sometimes trauma lives longer in your stomach than in your memory. In 2020, Gut Journal profiled combat veterans with PTSD and irritable bowel syndrome. Their microbiomes were profoundly different, low in beneficial species, high in inflammatory bacteria.
Stress hormones, such as cortisol, alter microbial balance, leading to immune hyperactivity and gastrointestinal pain.
One veteran described it this way: "My stomach knows I'm back in the war zone before my mind does."
That hit me.
The gut remembers what the brain tries to forget. Grief doesn't just live in the heart, it lingers in the gut. When we lose someone, our gut bacteria change within days.
Studies from Harvard Medical School show bereavement increases gut permeability and inflammation, potentially affecting mood and immune strength.
So heartbreak can literally make you sick.
Yes, the gut can't tell emotional pain from physical pain. It just reacts. A 2015 Johns Hopkins case study described a woman whose anxiety became so severe she couldn't eat without pain. Her doctors found extreme dysbiosis. Her gut bacteria were nearly wiped out by years of stress and medication.
After microbiome restoration therapy, her panic attacks diminished by 70% and her appetite returned.
So fixing her gut fixed her fear?
In a sense, yes. Healing the gut let her mind breathe again. The gut's rebellion doesn't end in the stomach. It affects hormones, immune cells, even how you see the world.
A microbiome produces metabolites that influence cognition. Dysbiosis is linked to memory fog, fatigue, and altered risk-taking.
So even decisions might be bacteria-influenced?
They are. One study found gut imbalance made people more impulsive. Their microbes craved quick sugar hits, and their brains agreed. Our gut is a memory organ, a witness to everything we've endured. When we ignore it, it rebels. But rebellion is only a cry to be heard.
Guess it's time to start listening before it starts screaming.
Exactly, because the gut that rebels can also forgive.
End of Act 3. Restoring neural balance pending.
For decades, we treated the gut like plumbing, but it's more like an orchestra, and healing begins when you tune it back to harmony.
So no more fast food drum solos?
Exactly. Harmony, not chaos.
Restoration of gut health strengthens emotional resilience. Balanced microbial diversity reduces anxiety, inflammation, and depressive symptoms.
In 2016, doctors published a story that stunned psychiatry. A 70-year-old woman battling treatment-resistant depression for decades underwent a fecal microbiota transplant, an infusion of healthy gut bacteria from a donor. Within weeks, her depression vanished. Her energy returned. She called it like waking up from a 20-year fog.
Follow-up studies show that gut microbiota transplants can restore neurotransmitter balance and normalize vagus nerve signaling in some cases.
So basically, someone else's gut saved her mind.
Yes, proof that healing sometimes begins in the most unexpected places. Today, a new field is emerging: psychobiotics, probiotics designed specifically for the brain.
These strains, like Bifidobacterium longum and Lactobacillus helveticus, reduce cortisol and increase serotonin precursors.
So the pharmacy of the future might look like a smoothie bar?
Maybe one capsule of good bacteria might be worth 1,000 therapy sessions. A 2020 clinical pilot found that taking psychobiotics for just 30 days improved mood scores by 50% in people with mild depression.
Participants also showed lower inflammation markers and improved sleep.
So good vibes, good gut, good night.
Exactly. One of the simplest ways to heal your gut doesn't come from a pill. It comes from your breath.
Deep breathing activates the vagus nerve, which lowers inflammation and restores gut-brain communication.
So mindfulness is basically Wi-Fi repair for my intestines.
Exactly. A calm mind makes a calm gut. In one study, participants who practiced diaphragmatic breathing twice a day for a month showed improved digestion and lower anxiety. In 2021, researchers found yoga practitioners had more diverse gut microbiomes and lower inflammation markers than non-practitioners.
Mind-body exercises influence the gut by regulating stress hormones, increasing microbial diversity, and stabilizing mood.
So it's not just about stretching, it's about rewiring.
Exactly. Healing the gut means remembering what your body was built for: fiber, fermentation, and flow.
Traditional diets rich in fiber and fermented foods promote short-chain fatty acids that nourish intestinal cells and reduce inflammation.
So grandma's recipes were medicine all along.
Yes, our ancestors knew what science is just rediscovering. In 2018, scientists studied the Mediterranean diet's effect on depression. Within 12 weeks, participants who switched diets improved their mental health scores by 45%, simply by changing what they ate.
Polyphenols and omega-3s enhance gut flora and regulate serotonin pathways.
So maybe happiness really is homemade.
Exactly. One meal at a time. Healing isn't a miracle, it's memory. Your gut knows how to be well. It's been waiting for you to remember.
So maybe the cure was inside us all along.
Homeostasis restored. Neural harmony achieved.
When the gut heals, the mind follows, and so does the heart. Beneath the noise of thought lives an ancient mind, silent, electric, alive. The gut doesn't just follow orders. It remembers the first language of life.
And all this time, I thought butterflies were just nerves.
Neurons in the gut predate cortical neurons in evolutionary history. The enteric network is one of humanity's oldest intelligences.
A 2018 Stanford case followed a man with Parkinson's who underwent gut-targeted therapy. As his microbiome rebalanced, his sleep returned, and with it, his dreams. He said, "When my gut woke up, so did the rest of me."
Restoration of REM sleep correlated with increased serotonin metabolites produced in the gut.
That's deep. He didn't just heal, he re-entered his own story.
Exactly. Healing is remembering who we are. We call it a gut feeling, but it's really body-based wisdom. Studies show your gut reacts to danger milliseconds before your conscious mind does.
This preconscious response originates in the vagus nerve's afferent pathways, the biological root of intuition.
So when my gut says, "Don't text him back," that's science talking?
Exactly. Trust your neurons, not your nostalgia. After years of nightmares and panic, a Boston firefighter joined a clinical trial on gut rehabilitation for PTSD. Within weeks of prebiotic and breathing therapy, his flashbacks subsided. He said, "I feel safe in my body again."
Functional MRI showed reduced amygdala hyperactivity and normalized gut microbial ratios.
Safe in his body again. That line gave me chills.
That's what healing is, coming home to your body. Our ancestors understood this connection. They called it balance, harmony, chi, ashe, prana. They didn't have the word microbiome, but they knew that when the stomach was troubled, the spirit was too.
So science finally caught up to grandma's soup recipes and prayers.
Traditional fermented foods contain natural probiotics with documented psychobiotic properties.
Wisdom was never lost, just waiting to be translated. Researchers in Japan studied a rural village whose diet was rich in fermented soy, pickles, and rice bran. Rates of anxiety and depression were half those of urban areas. The difference wasn't wealth, it was microbes.
Microbial diversity correlated directly with higher self-reported life satisfaction scores.
Joy in a jar.
Exactly. Across the world, thousands are finding their way back through the gut. A mother in Kenya whose postpartum depression lifted after diet change. A teen in Germany whose autism symptoms eased after microbiome therapy. A veteran in Texas who finally slept through the night.
Clinical data confirms these outcomes are linked to gut-brain axis restoration and vagus nerve rehabilitation.
That's bigger than medicine. That's redemption.
Exactly. We spend our lives chasing clarity, never realizing that wisdom was breathing below our ribs all along. The second brain isn't beneath us, it's within us. It feels, remembers, warns, and heals. It tells our story in chemistry and light.
So the real genius is the one we carry inside.
Yes, and it's been waiting for you to listen.
Program complete. Neural harmony sustained.